Hi everyone, it's Jill Lancet, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia. This is take 2. I don't know what happened. I'm recording this and you don't want to know. Anyway, so I've quickly had to recut some stuff and take 2. Click. Okay, there's my name. There's my online store. So if you need to purchase anything, there's my email address, and I'm still saying and sorry about that. Host code ends on the 5th of April. Now, the cards we're making one card. It is really quick, and I think I always say that, and well, you be the judge whether it's really quick or not. But anyway, the card that we're making is going to be one of these. This is the one, this is the original. This is the one I just made on the video that did not turn out. So fingers crossed, all the rest of it. We're using this embossing folder. It's a really beautiful embossing folder. It is one of the online exclusive products that are only available online. That's, I guess, why they called them those. So if you go to my online store, the opening page, if you scroll down the opening page, you will eventually get to this banner here, which says online exclusives. And you can click on shop now, and all of the online exclusive products will come up. I think, look, I'm not even sure how many there are. Let's say between 10 and 20, because I really don't know. Anyway, that's where you will find the embossing folder. I will show you the embossing folder. It is called Leaf Fall. This is the packaging that comes in. This is the embossing folder itself. Now, it is a 3D embossing folder, so it is quite deep, the embossing, so you will need to check the sandwich instructions for your machine. Now, if you're not sure what a sandwich is, it's the number of plates that you need to put in with this embossing folder. It should be either in the instructions, or in the case of the Stampin' Up! Ones, it's actually written on the plate. Now, this is from the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and obviously it won't fit in there because that is the size of the plate, but it will fit in the larger one. Okay, so that's that out of the way. Now, I have already cut the cardstock down. I have embossed it, and I'm going to show you how we got this look. So we'll pop that over there. We're also going to use a stamp set for the sentiment, and it is this beautiful Simply Succulents. It is on page 32 in the annual catalogue. I have that here. This is the sentiment You've Been on My Mind that we're going to use, and we're using this craft white ink pad. Now, I have the older style one, so it doesn't look like our newer ones. It looks like this, but it does the same thing. So I've just had it for a very long time. So that's it. That's about all we're going to be using today. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to create this. So I cut some Cajun Craze cardstock down to 13.3. I've already run this through the embossing folder. So this cardstock is 13.8, not 13.3, 13.8 by 9.5. Disregard that. 13.8 by 9.5. And we're going to put that straight on the card front. But first, we're going to create that beautiful, I don't know what you'd like to call that, snowy, ghostly appearance. So what I did was I just opened up my craft ink pad, my white craft ink pad. It's very thick, the ink on this, so I'm going to use just a piece of sponge. Now these, I think these are sold in the art stores. I don't think Stampin' Up sell them anymore, but they're just a sponge. It's just like a washing up sponge. But I cut it in half. They are circular and I cut it in half. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rub this along here and just stamp it down and just pick up a very small amount of the white ink, because I can add to it, but I can't take it away. So now, without smushing the sponge down, because we want it to just skim the top of that embossing. So I'm just going to show you. So just very, very gently, I'm going to swipe that over. Now, as I said, I can add to that, but I can't take it away. Now, if you're very, very gentle and you're not pushing down, this will only touch the areas of the embossing that have been raised. And the detail suddenly becomes very obvious. And that's basically it. Look at the beautiful detail in that particular leaf there. Like it's folded over on itself. It's just beautiful. So it just makes the detail pop. It's very easy. That's it. Done. Now, you go and wash your sponge and that's it. You live to fight another day. Okay, so what I did was I just glued that straight onto the card base, and that white pink pigment ink does stay wet for a bit longer than our normal ink. So I will leave that while I do the rest of it because I just don't want to smudge that. So here's our card front. That's not it. I have literally hundreds of scraps of basic white and other cardstock. When I cut it down, I'm left with these little strips. Don't throw them away, because as I'm about to show you, we're going to be using that to create our greeting. So I've chosen the Cajun Craze ink, which is the same colour as the cardstock. Fingers crossed, hold your breath, have a little bit of a go. Always have a test go just to get the feel of the stamp, just to see how it stamps. That looks pretty good. So I do have another side to this piece of scrap card if I bugger this up. So yeah, don't press too hard, and I'm just going to try and line that up. Now I'm standing up and I'm above the camera, so I hope I get this right. Okie dokie, here we go. Just holding that down for a second. The first one was perfect. I hope this is perfect. Yep, that looks pretty good. It doesn't matter that it's crooked. It's a little bit crooked. It won't matter. This is a handmade card. And there's bound to be some sort of discrepancy in it. But there you go. I'm really liking that. I'm very pleased with that. So I need a little bow. I just have some white baker's twine and I'm just about out of it. So I'll have to order some more, I think. But anyway, a little bow, and I always do rabbit ears. Simply because that's the easiest for me. It's not a huge bow, but I do particularly like the long tails on them, so. And I do it while it's still on the spool. That way I can just, I don't have to waste too much, if you know what I mean. So we'll cut that off. I'm going to trim this down. I do need my paper trimmer. I'm just going to trim this down. This one's a little bit narrower. It was the scrap that I had. The other one was a bit wider. But you use what you've got. You don't want to cut into a whole piece of cardstock for a little strip like that. And I'm just going to, that looks about right. Just going to snip that bit off too. And there we go. I can put my trimmer back now. And I need some glue dots right here, right here, right here. And I'm just going to take my little white bow and just fiddle with it for a couple of seconds. I just want both tails to be down the right way. And I'm going to put it on a glue dot like this. And that is very sticky, but that is going in this corner here. So I want the bow to sort of hang down and be behind it, just like that. Now, I'm going to use liquid glue. I hope I've got some left in this tube. I'm using liquid glue because the embossing is not like what you would call a flat surface, because it's all lumps and bumps. Check that your card opens the right way. Which way are we going? Yep, I think we're going that way. I'm just gluing it straight onto the white card, which, by the way, I forgot to tell you, is A4 cut in half this way and then scored at 10.5 and then folded. Now it can be a portrait or a landscape card. We're going landscape, or are we? We might go portrait this time. Yeah, I might go portrait just to be different, just to change it up. Okay, so now I want some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back. I'm going to capture that little string, for want of a better word, little tail, and I'm going to put 3. No, I'm going to put 4. I'm going to put one on the end, one on this end. I'm very very worried about these things getting squashed in the mail, so it just has a bit more support on it now. So yeah, let's make this a portrait card, and we'll just take these off. I struggle with these things, and the best way, oh look, I found it. I lose my take your pick tool all the time. This is the easiest way to get these things off, is just to stab them. You can take a lot of anger out on these. Stab them and just pull that up like that. Okay, so I have that down there like that, and I think I'll line that up with the edge. Just line that up with the edge, and it's in this top third of the card, just to balance it out. Now, what do you think about that? I think that's a sweet little card. It literally took a few minutes to make. So there's portrait, landscape, and landscape. Now, I did the first one in Evening Evergreen, which is a very dark green. I stamped the sentiment in Evening Evergreen. The bow's looking a bit, how's your father? Again, I stamped the same colour just to tie that in. It's monochromatic. It's using only one colour of ink beside the white. And let me know which way you like it. You know what? I kind of like the portrait. I really liked the landscape until I made the portrait one. Anyway, that's today's video. It's only quick. It's a very quick technique. Please give it a try. It's easy, and it just doesn't, you don't have to restrict that to just this embossing folder. You can do this with any embossing folder. It can then be totally in the background and you can put other focal things on top of it, but give it a go. And I hope you really enjoyed that. If you'd like to receive emails, go onto my email list, where I do actually post these videos just in case you miss them, or just keep you up to date on the offers. There it is there. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you can give this a go. Bye.